Good afternoon. We have a special guest speaker for you today. Please give a warm welcome to the hosts of My Gym Partners, a podcast. Attendance is mandatory.
Bullshort, porcupine, I don't know what. Doing this podcast is a pain in the...
1999 Stuart Little is a biopic written and produced by the titular Stuart Little. The events in the movie truly happened, though not how they are shown. Stuart Little is a con man and a rat, and I will take him down.
Also, it was directed by M. Night Shyamalan, a little lesser-known fact. M. Night Shyamalan... He wrote that, and also the director of Jacob's Ladder, the screenwriter for Jacob's Ladder actually worked on Stuart Little too. Isn't that something? Halloween,
Stuart
everybody.
Little has friends in higher places. And
such
like
as God, the devil,
and M. Night Shyamalan.
and M. Night Shyamalan.
We're really starting it off here, huh?
Well, yes.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, I cannot believe we have gone this long doing this podcast. Hi, by the way, it's My Gym Partners podcast. I cannot believe we have gone this far doing this podcast, and I have not talked extensively about my Stuart Little theories, at all.
I could have sworn that we have, but that's just because we talk about them so often. Like, I just feel like, the podcast has gotten to a point to where it's bleeding into my own reality, and I just feel like, it's like, yeah, y'all fucking know about the Stuart Little headcanons or like conspiracy theories. Y'all know about it. But they don't.
They don't know.
I know them well. You
Yeah.
all don't. Let me tell ya. There's a lot. It's a deep crevice there of theories.
Hey,
Almost
everybody.
as deep as this show's theories.
Almost as deep as my lore that I've created with my roommate about our two OCs, Beetle and Greedle.
Okay, we can't get into Beetle and Greedle here.
Welcome once
That
again.
could be its own podcast.
Welcome once again to My Gym Partners, a podcast where we talk about episodes of My Gym Partners, a monkey that we go through as friends to keep us sane and well. It's past Halloween. It's November 1st. Not to date this video, but I just did. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You
November.
literally just dated it.
Hold on, let me That I didn't. I was going to type a lot on my keyboard, but I was afraid it would mess up the recording, so I just kind of ended the joke. I don't want to do something.
I've had that happen to me before. I've done that before.
Yeah,
probably good for me not to do that.
Anyway, it's post-Halloween.
Post-Halloween.
Yes.
This is our post-Halloween video. Now we're easing down into Thanksgiving territory.
Boo! 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 Thanksgiving. It sucks.
The easiest thing about Thanksgiving, I think, for me this year is having to extensively work on school projects. I'm so thankful. I'm so fucking thankful for college. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, it's the fall season. The leaves. It's getting cold. I don't know what happened. I swear yesterday it was like warm, and then now today it was so cold I had to wear a jacket. I haven't had to wear a jacket in months.
I don't know
what's going on.
That seems to be due to drastic climate change, which is a sort of effect of global warming.
Okay, Renee, I'm not. Listen. We're here to entertain people. Yeah. Sorry,
God,
but
don't do this.
I just don't want you to be political.
We're not political.
Yeah, we're not political on this podcast. We're trying to maintain like a level of a middle groundness on these types of really controversial subjects such as the Earth melting. And I would really appreciate it if you just kind of kept it on the down low, Like, we're not gonna dock your pay this time, but if you do it again...
Please don't dock my pay again.
You already pay me so little.
Speaking of pay, I actually want to talk about this at the beginning of the podcast. So we have opened up a little something called a coffee. So we'll link it on our Twitter later, but it is there on as our website on Twitter as well. It is just a way for y'all to...
Wait, Lucy. I'll be the audience. What's a coffee?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, audience. So a coffee is just a way for you to throw a little money our way, not that much, like $3 at most, to help us fund some stuff with the podcast. Now you might be asking, well, what could y'all possibly need for, like, isn't this is a free thing? Why should we have to pay you? First off, you don't have to pay us. We will always put our content out for free, whatever. This is just to help us with little things. Like we pay Allie, our thumbnail artist, out of our own pockets. And we would like to have a little bit of money to help pay her more, because we frankly, to her decision, she's a good friend of ours. She actually gives us quite a big discount on our thumbnails, and we'd like to pay her more because she deserves more.
She definitely deserves more. She like puts so much love and effort into our thumbnails, and like I'm so thankful that we have such a good friend who's like, you know, willing to produce art for such a topic at such large quantities.
I mean, it's such great art too. Like, you know, you see these thumbnails. Before on our Twitter, we posted them in, like, you know, their full quality, and they're great. They're beautiful. Each one knocks it out of the park. So we want this Ko-fi to help pay Allie for, like, being such a great thumbnail artist. And we're also working for a stretch goal. The funds also help Gert here get a better quality microphone, so that you don't...
because Gert has a shitty mic.
Yeah, my mic's not waterproof, so like it just keeps like it keeps getting like damaged. It's degrading fast in my murky, disgusting water that never gets changed. Somebody please change my water. I'm getting the ick.
Oh no! So if you send us a few bucks our way and you attach a message to it, it is 100% guaranteed to be read on the podcast, as long as it's not, you know, bigoted or horrible in some way.
Yeah,
but
as long as you're not
nice.
Well, we got some good fans here.
To be fair, though, if you're bigoted and horrible and you give us money, I mean, what?
Why? Us? All right.
I'm gonna fucking show those gay people. I'm gonna pay them.
So to recap, we have a Ko-fi. We'll link it in this description. We'll link it on our Twitter. Throw us a few bucks or don't. We'll continue to do what we do, and we won't mention it much unless we'll probably mention it a few times.
Yeah,
just
probably while we're doing the comments each episode.
Yeah,
until we get a nice collection of podcast sponsors. Y'all know the ones.
Oh, you mean like?
Don't say it.
Boof Apon.
So, what's that? Money, politics. What are we? Some kind of grown-up podcast?
Yeah, it's been like 10 minutes, and we've been like talking about money and finance.
Yeah, that.
We gotta talk about the fucking show. We gotta talk about is this Between the Lines? That's not the name of the episode, but that's the way I opened up with my notes here for this episode that we watch. Are we starting with that one also?
Yes, we're going to be talking about the episode Inconvenient Goof.
It shouldn't be called that. I don't understand.
Yeah, Gert actually came up with a funny name, which we'll mention at the end of this recap, because I think it's a better name, because I actually don't understand the name Inconvenient Goof.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm sure it's a reference to something somewhere, but it really doesn't have a place here. But I really like the start of this episode, and you will all probably guess why in a bit. But we start out. We have two wimpy kids, a wimpy rhino kid and like Eduardo. What was the name of that panther kid? I know it was just Ed.
Donald or something.
Yeah, his name was
Donald was the deer student. I know
that's
that.
That's
right. But they're like, you know, jousting with like Renaissance regalia, They're being really pathetic about it, and like the three big girls, the trio. What are they called?
Latanya.
The
Latanya's
pretties.
one of them. I remember Latanya. I remember her name.
Was it one like
Joni,
Julie.
Oh,
Joni.
Joni. Joni is one.
Joni. All right, we got to. Is one Tiffany or something?
Oh no, there's no Tiffany.
Margaret.
I don't think.
Mary.
Margaret.
I knew it
Margaret.
was an M.A. Margaret. Yeah.
Fuck
we
yeah!
did
Fuck
it.
yeah!
Woo!
Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah!
But anyway, they're all there, but they're like really not into it. They're kind of sweating, and Miss Chameleon is like, "What is this? This is a theater."
And then every person watching this episode gasps because how long has it been since I've seen your
Thank
face?
goodness, Miss Chameleon is back, and like her role in this episode, like I'll be honest, is kind of shoehorned in, but I'm glad it is. She's like it's hilarious and it's beautiful. She's great. She's amazing, innovative, inspired.
The beginning of this. Sorry, you go ahead.
Oh no, it's okay. You can go ahead.
No. Oh, I insist, please.
Oh well, okay, as long as you insist. So it's like it's like a framed narrative, right? Like it's Miss Chameleon telling the story that is the episode, and she starts monologuing at them, and I enjoy it because I like Miss Chameleon. And at first, it's weird to have an episode start and it not have anybody from the main cast, like at all. Like all the animals on stage aren't really the main cast, and Miss Chameleon's not really a reoccurring teacher. Like I would say, like Mr. Hornbill is more reoccurring than she is. You know?
I love this episode of Beastars.
Yeah, it was like I was thinking that.
I guess we gotta reference it now before it's too late.
Yeah.
We know about it. We know. So she's like, you think this is hot? Because they're all complaining about how their costumes are too hot and they're making them sweat and they don't want to do this anymore.
I'm sweaty.
It's like this is not as hot as it was yesterday when it was stupid when it was super hot. So
Super
we get
hot.
a little kind of
Super
like
hot.
we get a little like woo,
God.
woo. We're in the school.
120 degrees.
It is
120.
It's so hot. It's incredible how like desolate it looks. It looks like Fallout New Vegas. It's so orange.
And Principal Pixie Frog comes over the loudspeaker and he's like, "Hey students, hot enough for you?" That's all.
That's it. I'm done.
Like he just turns on the speaker to torment them, to just like make fun of them.
He doesn't say anything ever like useful over that intercom. It's always something that's kind of worthless, like to the students. I feel like he just puts it on when he's bored, just to get a kick out of it. It's like, ooh, my voice is heard amongst the entire school. I bet that is like a power trip thing for a lot of principals, though.
Well, he's a little
has
frog too.
Definitely has a Napoleon complex.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's like
And
all my subjects can hear my call.
Miss Chameleon describes the scene for us and describes Adam
It's
as a pathetic boy.
I made sure to capture that. He is a sweaty, pathetic boy whose sweat is even sweaty. That's what happened. Also, he has very frizzy hair. There's something that's gonna be happening with that.
Because everybody is so hot and like so miserable, they can do the only thing they know to take their minds off of it. Make fun of Adam.
So Slips is like, "Dude, what's up with your hair?"
Whoa, you got like a perm.
Whoa, it's like a perm or something. He's just like, it's not a perm! And it's like, yeah, it is. And they point and they laugh at the boy with the perm.
They're all just laughing.
They're just like, he's like, well, you know.
He's actually pretty calm at first about it, just saying that, oh, it's because of the humidity, my hair frizzes up and gets all curly.
And then Jake is like, then how do you explain this? And And he pulls a little fro comb out of Adam's head. He's like, okay.
Yeah, they like laugh and walk away from him, and Adam just stands there like, well, it's not a perm, so it's not one, actually. He looks sad. Well, he looks more like shocked, I would say. But he's so damp. This boy, this pathetic boy, he's so damp. He decides to seek medical attention via a character we haven't seen even more than we haven't seen this chameleon.
Oh, mama.
There's a theme with these episodes, these 2 episodes right here.
I'm very happy to see her again.
Yeah, she's a funny character.
I like looking at her.
That's it. That's all. But she's going to freaking arc weld the sweat off of Adam Lyon. And also the perm if he'd like. But he yells, "Ah! It's not a perm. Ah!"
Well, it's not a perm.
The room starts to fill up with, sweat. It's not
Presumably.
Presumably sweat. It fills up with presumably sweat, in which Adam Lyon is very like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, he's like, wow. So there's because I was like, wow, you sure are sweating a lot. This is ridiculous. And he's like, how? How would I possibly be able to do this?
This would be impossible. There's no way this is me.
But the entire school is soon flooded by presumably Adam's sweat, which I hate. I hate that that's the presumption here, because everyone is like dressing up in swim trunks and swimming in presumably Adam's sweat, but
Jake
Jake
Spider
has like
Monkey even thanks them. He thanks Adam's sweat. He goes, "Thank you, Adam's sweat."
Jake has a really like fun little adorable bathing suit, by the way. It's a fun design. They were having fun with that. He like waddles like on a diving board.
The way that he waddles gave me like a funny hee that's the little monkey feeling, which I don't often get with Jake Spider Monkey. I often feel very like disturbed and angered by like his actions. But sometimes he manages to be cute, and it's comforting. I'm happy that they did that in this episode.
So Adam decides that he's going to get to the bottom of this. He's like, it's not my sweat. You know what? Maybe it's global warming. Everyone kind of just like blinks at him. He's like, well, guys, I did an oral presentation on it. And then I really like this shit. He assumes the position of a young school kid about to like get up in front of the class and like, present something. And he's like, like swinging back and forth on his feet. He's like playing with his hand. He's like, global warming is a thing that happens.
An accumulation of greenhouse gases in the air that causes the polar ice caps to melt.
Greenhouse gases? That was Jake farting and blowing up his pants.
Jake fart joke. The quota is ticked. Thank goodness. I can clock out. But Adam giving his presentation to me like is reminiscent of like a fish person. I don't know. That's just the vibe.
What do you mean by that?
like the way he's like wall-eyed, just kind of like wriggling back and forth. It makes me think of like a fish man. Or something.
I get you. I get you.
That's a funny.
He kind of goes wide-eyed, like he's like scared of presenting in front of his friends.
I thought it seemed like he kind of like went into sort of a trance where like it seemed like he was speaking a speech that he remembered, and it just came to him like out of the like deep depths of his brain.
That's why I like the joke. It's very like real. It's like definitely like this is what a kid would sound like if he was trying to present at school. What I like is that everybody just doesn't take him seriously, and I think Windsor's just like, who says it? It's like some
Windsor
like,
says,
what do you know?
Wow,
guy, you're the guy with a perm and a political agenda.
Yeah, he says that Adam has a political agenda.
So like the situation here, as it stands, is basically that nobody believes that like global warming in this school apparently, or that they don't believe that like global warming is the cause of like this flooding, and they just attribute it to Adam's sweat. He
Fair
goes to
enough.
Principal Pixie Frog.
Fair enough.
At first, Principal Pixie Frog is kind of panicking, like, "Oh no, the school is flooding." But then he like takes off his clothes, and we get a zoom in of his like bathing suit. He's got a little tattoo.
Oh yeah, he's got a what? Do they call those? Is that a not okay term to use anymore?
What-
you know
what-
what I'm thinking of?
A
The
what?
tattoo
Yeah,
on
yeah.
your lower back. What do you call them now?
Oh, a tramp well, that's...
It's not.
I don't know any other word for, like...
There's gotta be a better word for it.
There's
Oh,
gotta be, like, that's very, very, just, like, mean.
I guess you could just call it a tattoo on your lower back and be a normal person.
Oh yeah, I got a tattoo on my lower back.
There we go. So,
What was it a
Pixie
tattoo
Frog has
of? I
It's
can't
like a
remember.
heart. I think it said like love on it.
Yeah,
or
it just says
something.
love.
It's a very nice one.
I feel like that tattoo keeps moving around. Doesn't he have one on his
Wait.
arm too?
Wait,
Yes.
who gave a tattoo to a frog?
We go
Um,
from like frog optometrists to frog like tattoo artists.
Do you think
Like,
Principal Pixie Frog's hair is tattooed onto his chest?
Oh yeah, he's got a very heavy, hairy chest.
Heavy black hairs as if they're all ingrown. It's horrible.
Don't make
That's
me think about Principal Pixie Frog's ingrown chest hair.
Well, I mean, the show makes us think about it. It's all close up on there, but
Principal
anyway.
Pixie
I-
Frog's ingrown hair ASMR. Listen to
I forget,
Principal Pixie
I forget what the
Frog.
line is, but like Miss Warthog is like drowning. Like,
She's
Oh,
like,
yeah, Miss Warhawk, why didn't you tell me about this?
comes to her and she's just like face down in the water.
she,
Like, okay, if it's not obvious, I love this episode.
this
I
is
think
a good
it's funny.
episode because it just like we've been past the threshold for a while, but remember when the show used to do like kind of like normal for a show with this premise, like school related episodes, and now it's just fucking buck wild. This is like pretty buck wild. Like the school is being like turned into a fucking like just water park somehow. We don't know, but they're all saying Adam's sweat.
But or it could be Adam Sweat. It could be fucking global warming. Who knows?
No, it's Adam's sweat.
Adam goes to Mr. Mandrill next for some assistance, but Mr. Mandrill's like, oh, Adam, you silly, silly boy. Global warming isn't a real problem. Don't worry. You know what? Captain Save the Earth Gnome will help us. And he
He's
pulls
so
out this like
strong.
action figure, and I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah, me and Lucy were watching this episode together, and like as I was just like, can you like pause for a second, Lucy? I got like this episode kept throwing like new like things that I felt compelled to write down, and it was just exhausting. It was like I was writing a paper.
But it's really good. I gotta say, I like the incidental background products, I guess you could say, in this world. Like, well, Captain Clowny in this comes to mind, but I love Save the Earth Gnome. Captain Save the Earth Gnome.
I love Captain Save the Earth.
I like Captain Save the Earth Gnome a lot.
It's ridiculous enough that it's just really great for some offhand thing, but I would also really love this as like an actual superhero. My gym partner's a monkey extended universe. Go.
Captain Clowny and Captain Save the Earth Gnome should date. They should be boyfriends.
They're ex-boyfriends. One's Captain Clowny turns evil. Didn't you see his movie where he dances on a staircase and he shoots a guy? He's evil now, so now they're ex-boyfriends.
Oh,
and
no.
It's about the tension. It's about the passion.
Spoilers for Captain.
for Captain Clowney.
Captain Clowney.
He's just called Clowney now.
He's just called Clowny.
He's called the Clowner.
I got a little crazy last night. Got a little clowny.
Maurice disregards Adam's fears of like global
Maurice,
warming.
We're calling him first name. You
I don't know why it just comes
Are
easier
you
to me.
just are you that intimate with Mr. Mandrill that you just
Don't-
pull out the Maurice?
Don't say that
Wow,
about
you
me.
must be good friends with Mr. Mandrill, Renee.
God.
Is he your buddy?
Principal Pool Frog, Principal Pixie Frog says that there's a pool party in the hallway. Everybody rushes out. Mr. Mandrill is like so excited.
Wait, what's
Adam-
Principal Pixie Frog's first name? we know?
Poncherello.
Poncherello. Okay, let's just call him that now.
No.
Poncherello.
Mr.
Mr.
Mandrill
Mandrill-
is riding on Dr. Blowhole.
The Professor Blowhole. No, not Professor Blowhole.
He's the Mr. Blowhole.
No, he's Doctor.
Wait, he's a fucking doctor? Why is he working
No,
in a middle school?
No, hold on. No, he is
No,
not
like a
doctor.
professor. He has a doctorate.
No,
Why does he have a
you're
doctorate?
Your Dr. Blowhole is from the Penguins of
Penguins of
Madagascar.
Wait, is that from Mighty Manchester? Is that what?
No! What are we spiraling down towards? It's just a whale.
Dr. Blowhole is the character from Penguins of Madagascar.
Hold on. I gotta look this up. I can't believe
I'm looking it
I-
up too. I can't trust anybody but my own eyes. Oh, fuck! I forgot about him.
Yes,
Wait,
it's
so
it's Mr. Blowhole.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Let's calm down.
Let me get my breath back. Okay.
Getting a little wild in here. It's global warming, I think.
Okay, let's see. Where are you? So they're as they're doing this like pool party, it's really funny because we get like a view of what a few of the people are doing. We see like Coach Gill getting pushed around in her fishbowl by
Careful,
like Horace.
Horace. I can't swim.
Apparently she can't swim. Jake is playing Marco Polo with a I don't know what, whatever that is.
It's a narwhal. A
Narwhals,
narwhal.
Sounds in a commotion. 'Cause they are so awesome.
You all remember that? It played on Verizon commercial.
We're aware. Anyway, it's a gag-a-minute little like montage. Dickie Sugar Jumper. Dickie Gervais is like voting on Henry Armadillo.
Yeah, them hanging out. I don't know if we've seen. Yeah, we have seen it before. It makes sense.
Yeah, they are
But, like,
both
it fits.
strange losers.
You know what? I think here. I'm gonna go into literary analysis mode for this one background thing, and I'm
Okay,
gonna
ready.
keep this in. Dickie and Adam represent the negative world versions, the extreme hyperbole personified of Adam and Jake's personality. Dickie Sugar Jumper is the off too cruel.
You said I just gotta
creepy.
say you didn't say Henry Armadillo. You said Adam and Dickie Sugar Jumper represent Adam and Jake.
Okay. All right. Henry and Dickie, they both represent the exaggerated like personalities of Adam and Jake. Dickie being the more crueler jokester who is also represents Jake's charming abilities, able to charm other people. Henry is the absolute pathetic, most just like the bottom level of patheticness that like rivals Adam's, and he represents the lowest of the low potential that Adam could possibly reach. I think they're like dark mirror versions of what could be in the represented in their current reality. Anyway, that's all the thoughts I have.
Anyway, Dickie was riding on Henry like a boat. It was funny.
Yeah, it was funny. He's like a little boat. Boom, boom.
Marco Polo. Jake is playing with this narwhal. What's his name?
Marco.
Marco. That's
That's
right.
a joke.
Adam swims over him. It's
Finally,
like
we know who I don't know what is.
Marco. And Jake and Adam are talking. I don't remember the nature of their conversation, but it was probably something like, this is global warming. No, it's not. And then Marco shows up and hits Adam for some reason.
And they all like sink into a whirlpool until they reach the Arctic wing of the school, which is melting.
Yes, ooh, it really was global warming. Windsor and Slips kind of drift by on a piece of ice, and they're like, well, I don't believe.
It's like, I'll believe it when I see a polar bear surfing, and then, funny, to the contrary of what they said, it wasn't a polar bear, that's the penguin comes by. Surfing.
Well, it wasn't a polar bear. And then he does like a silly little smile.
Yes. So it is confirmed now. The school is gonna flood. It's dangerous. So then we get a sudden cut back to our story narrative, like our framed story narrative. We could go back to Miss Chameleon, which is funny because at that point I kind of forgot that she was like telling this as a story. And the one of the pretties kind of interrupts and she's like, "We were all here yesterday. That didn't happen. What are you talking about?"
It was just like, oh, it was the day before yesterday then.
No, we've all been here every day. We have perfect attendance. And Margaret shows her plaque for perfect attendance. By the way, I really love Miss Chameleon's like expressions. They went all out with her in this episode, and I'm thankful. Monkey Crew, thanks for your work on Miss Chameleon this episode. But this is my favorite like part of this episode. This is the funniest thing to me. She just pauses at a moment after like thinking, and then it's like, "Oh right, that's today," and then the room begins to flood. And
God, it's like she had like this third eye somewhere in the school.
She had a psychic vision of what was happening today, and then they all get flooded. For some reason, we get like a little like underwater sequence where like everyone's like being swept by the tide, and we get to see swimsuit versions of people. Why is there like a swimsuit version of Mr. Hornbill? Did they need to draw that? Did they need to I'm not.
I thought you were asking like a logistical reason, like there was some reason in universe that couldn't happen, but no, you just were upset by Mr. Hornbill appearing.
It's just like
there's gotta be a fucking
It's funny
reason.
to me that like, you know, this episode that like it doesn't necessitate them, that doesn't have anything to do with them. It's just like, you know, let's do a nice little thing for the background. Let's have him in a little swimsuit. That'll be nice, I think.
Yeah,
People really like that.
I just love drawing Mr. Hornbill. He's one of my favorites.
It's not even anything. It's just funny to me that he's
like
in this episode somehow.
That's like the nice white man you always see in like one of those like cartoon like behind the scenes things where they're just like, this is one of my favorite characters I like to draw. See those lines there?
It's just lovingly like sketching Mr. Hornbill, like
showing it to like another person in their like crew, and they're just like, because they're appreciating
like you see somebody standing in front of like a bunch of storyboards like taped to the
Yeah!
wall, and they're like pointing at it like, oh, what if Mr. Hornbill came by?
and they all just like there's like somebody sitting in a spinny chair clapping and laughing. Because their job is so fun.
This is why we never got background, like, little vignettes of My Gym Partner's a Monkey.
Miss, why am I calling her Miss? I can't assume that for her. Nurse Gazelle is like, well, I am certain now this is not your sweat. No way you can possibly have sweated all of this. So
Yeah,
Windsor kind of floats by and he's like, yes, this is obviously global warming. It's like, wow, if only you had told us earlier, Adam. Jeez.
If only we weren't distracted by your perm.
I feel like we haven't emphasized like how the perm thing was very, very like much a big part of the joke in this episode. I feel like that needs to be like hit home more. The perm is it's part of it, y'all.
Oh yeah, and it kind of comes to a conclusion here where they all kind of sink to the bottom of the water, and Adam's perm hair sucks up all the water, and the nurse is like, oh, yep, well, perms do that, so it's definitely a perm. See, I'm also a cosmetologist, so I know. I felt like I was watching Legally Blonde or something. I was like, wow, you're so smart, Nurse Gazelle.
I'm glad we got
Gazelle.
that look into her life.
I'm glad that we got something. I'm glad that we even got to look at her this episode.
Yeah, she's funny. So Adam's just like, all right, guys, it was a perm the whole time. I let my stylist talk me into it.
You have a stylist? Well, yeah, I'm 12. Which, good joke.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I really like, what I like? So the perm, we mentioned briefly, is a reoccurring joke. And we've talked about how much the show loves a reoccurring joke. But in this sense, I feel like it actually worked. Because it's plot relevant mostly, and Adam doesn't really get like pissed off mad when people mention it's a perm. He kind of gets this kind of like, no, it's not a perm. like looks to the side.
Well, no, he gets pretty annoyed at points. It escalates, but that's what you need for a running joke.
Like a sweet grandmother who's just like, no, I did my hair.
It's just the humidity, and like it escalates to like Adam like being like, it's not a perm, it's not a perm, but like it's because of that escalation, and then this very end bit where it's realized that like he was just lying. He was lying the whole time.
It was a perm the whole time.
And, like after he's found out, he's just like, yeah, it was a perm. He got me. It's that it's like different from the usual formula. It's just unexpected. It's funny. And then you know what I really like about this ending? Everyone congratulates Adam like for like his perm saving the day, and then everyone gets a perm.
They like it. It's like for once we get some kind of like closure.
And everyone has a perm because it keeps them like cool during the day, retains moisture, and everyone's happy. Even Principal Pixie Frog and Miss Warthog have perms.
Principal Pixie Frog has a little green perm.
They're up in the technical like box. I forget what it's called in theater, but
the techie booth. That big old box up there with all the knobs and shit. That's where they're at. Because like the actors of the play from the beginning scene are now like excitedly performing because they have perms and they don't have to be so hot all the time.
Does a perm really keep you cool? Hold on.
No.
This is outside my purview, so I'm not.
Perm facts with Gert.
All right, let's see. Does a perm keep you cool? How to maintain your perm hair? How long does a perm last? I don't know what I expected. I'm not going to get an answer to this. This is not a question that's normal to ask.
There's your answer.
Yeah, perm facts with Gert, I guess.
But it turns out that it wasn't global warming exactly that caused this instant flooding, but it was because Principal Pixie Frog forgot to, or purposefully didn't turn on the AC during the hottest heat wave of the year.
'Cause I'm cheap!
And then everyone heard it because it was all on the microphone. They're like, oh, we probably shouldn't have talked into the microphone. And then at the end we just hear Principal Pixie Frog say, hello? That's the end of this episode.
Oh boy.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-bum.
I liked it. We all liked it.
Yeah,
It was a good one. I think this is like the best state of this show right here, where they can have like a ridiculous plot line with like lots of like good supplemental gags. You know, you can have your repeating jokes, but it's got to escalate and it's got to build up to something like a good payoff, like it did here with the perm being actually a perm. And Adam just being like, yeah, it was a perm.
And I'm just fucking with you.
Well, that was a good episode. Shall we move on to the next one?
Oh, of course. A horse, of course.
Of course. Next time on My Gym Partners, the podcast.
Oh, should we talk about that issue then? The credibility of us, our dark secret. There's an episode of My Gym Partners, a podcast, and I'm not going to tell you which one, mostly because I forgot which one, where we lost Renee's audio.
We completely fucking lost it. It was gone. We completely lost the audio. This has been our secret for so long. Oh my god, I forgot that we haven't told everybody.
So we had at least 20 minutes of it, but this was like 40 minutes of it was missing because something happened and Renee just Mike didn't pick up on the rest of the episode. So Renee went in, I edited the episode with Gert and I's audio, and then I passed it to Renee, and Renee dubbed in her lines as best as they could remember. And it's seamless. It's absolutely seamless. You would never know.
To this day, I don't remember which episode that was. So, take your best guess. Try to see which episode I dubbed over.
We've only told one. Sorry, you're talking. Go on.
No. I don't remember which episode I dubbed over. It's been so long now. But if you can find it. If you know the one, for sure, let us know.
There's no way. It's complete. It's so seamless. I think it's because you might have redubbed it pretty soon after we had recorded it. So you remembered some of the stuff you had said, but it's so accurate to the point where I was listening to it one time when it was fresher in my mind, and I was like, "There's no way. There's no way Renee did this. This is too good." So good look out there. Anyway, that's your secret. It's our secret. What are they called? ARGs. That's ours.
We've
only a message.
We've only told one gym partner, our good friend Seep, who's been on the podcast before, the secret, and Seep. I remember them reacting like, that's disgusting.
Yes, he was very disturbed and disgusted by our actions, and we deeply apologize.
We told them which one, specifically what it was, and they were just like, I didn't even know. I was...
And now back to the show.
Anyway, let's talk. Speaking of lying and cheating and stealing, let's talk about lie, cheetah, steal. Okay.
This episode upsets me. Not all of it. I'm just gonna say the sign upsets me.
Oh, why does the sign upset you?
At the front of the school. It says, say no to slugs. I'm disappointed by that. I love slugs. They appear in my bathroom on a regular basis. Don't know where they come from, but I welcome them. My roommate's just like, we should probably tell our landlords about it. And I say no. I want them in here. If I see them, I'll just pick them up, put them outside. They'll be on their way. What does it mean to say no to slugs? Well, here's the thing. And I start walking back and forth. I'm on the big flat stage, and my hands are together. This bit's going nowhere.
No, I wanted to hear the rest. I was really invested.
I thought you were really pulling something great. I was excited.
I can only bullshit through a story for so long.
Well,
okay.
I know
Well,
my limit. It was there.
So you mentioned the no to slugs sign, but as we go into the school, where are we? Where are we finally?
Oh my god!
it's the cafeteria. No,
No.
it's the gym.
Yeah, it's the Nasium of all places.
Where they are finally gym partners once again. Oh God, yes.
Finally, the
purpose of the
namesake.
show is fulfilled once again.
Fuck yeah, fuck yeah, fuck yeah,
Fuck yeah, fuck yeah.
fuck yeah, fuck yeah.
But everyone's bored. They're not really doing gym stuff.
Yes.
Coach Gills isn't there, and you know
Gasp.
it honestly, you know, the feeling is mutual. It's been a while since we've seen Coach Gills in like a proper role, not just like
true.
you know
Added.
showing off like a presentation and then disappearing for the rest of the episode or something.
Not
No,
part
this-
of the stock of like teacher characters that we occasionally get to see, like in a little pile together.
This is a Coach Gills centric episode, and yeah, it's a good one. I think it's a pretty
I think
alright
so
one.
too. I liked it.
It's got some like pretty fun, I guess, like interactions in it character wise. I believe the premise is both confusing but entertaining, and by confusing, it's confusing in a very fun way.
I think it's a nice like rich story, which I don't get to say about my gym partners and monkey stories.
I was
But
going
like
to say that might be a
it,
first.
it feels like an actual narrative.
A narrative?
Ooh!
Well, yeah, it doesn't have. I feel like I hate saying this because it's gonna sound dumb, but it was somewhat predictable to the point where I was comforted that it was predictable. I was like, oh, thank God we're not gonna go on some crazy like run around for something stupid. It's just a very like simple. It's gonna be fun and it's gonna be funny. Like that's what we're doing here.
The facts are there. Like, we know what we're getting into. It's great. It's great.
So Adam and Jake are sitting there, and Adam's like, "Man, where's Coach Gill?" But Jake is chastises him for interrupting him because he has almost figured out like quantum physics or something.
Yeah.
He's like, I have finally had him. This is the like longest I've been quiet in a long time, and I'm like I'm concentrating. I'm here. I have it in my head, and he's just like saying things.
Yet another power of Jacob P. Spider Monkey seems to be that of. Isn't that kind of like what fucking Dr. Xavier guy from X-Men can do? He's just really good at thinking. Yeah, I guess give Jake that one also.
Renee, is that true? Do you know X-Men?
You know X-Men?
No, I don't know X-Men.
Okay. Hey, any of you know X-Men? Any of you out there?
Hey,
I got a very limited knowledge of the Marvel wheelhouse. All I know is that Nightcrawler is hot. That's all I'm putting out there.
That's a fair thing. That's very fair.
But anyway, you know, Jacob P. Spider Monkey's emergent mutant powers aside, we have Coach Gill in her health classroom, stuck because Horace isn't there that day, and man, it really sucks.
Yeah. I wondered how she got to the health room. I wonder what kind of like things Coach Gill uses to like get around. Does like her? We know she has like, I don't want to say owner. I guess like a
An
friend.
assistant, an attendant.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has like a human she lives with supposedly. Does the human like drop her off every day and just like moves along? Like I wish there was a way for her to move around on her own. I feel like she should have like a remote control in her bowl that can like control the little podium she stands on. You know. I feel like that'd be
You know,
nice.
some freedom.
She needs some direct control in her life. I feel like that might be part of the reason why she's so sad all the time.
I think so too. I think she doesn't get that. Like she's constantly having to like rely on other people to like move her around and stuff. And like it'd be really nice if she could just decide where she wanted to go. Because I feel like there's been a lot of jokes where the joke is she's like rolling down one way or falling out of her bowl another way, and she can't get back in.
Literally a bowl, like a fish in a bowl. Like
Yeah.
it's nice. It's fine to rely on other people. Like that's always good. But you know, a little bit of like independence can come a long way in like improving your mood and your just overall outlook on life. I want that for you, Coach Gill.
Yeah.
Let me build
So-
you a device. A body.
So the guy from Tekken walks in.
You can't just introduce him as the guy from Tech.
Okay, what's his name? King from Tekken walks in.
Yeah.
No.
A cheetah, anthro cheetah man with wearing a tracksuit walks in. And he's
Just a straight up like beefcake furry man. That's what he is.
I look at this man, and this is somebody's persona. I
Do you
know
think
this.
somebody on the monkey crew?
Somebody on the monkey crew drew this man and went, yep. If I like it, Coach Gill will.
So this cheetah shows up. He has a name, right?
Yeah, his name is.
I think it's just Mr. Cheetah.
Yeah, I was
Hold
gonna
on.
say, because I didn't write down a name anywhere, but I wrote down a lot of just cheetah. He seems like a nice guy though. He shows up and he's like, hey, yeah, I'm like Horace's gym trainer, and like he got injured really bad, and we get this like cutaway to like the cheetah guy going, yeah, you could do it, push it, Horace, push it, and Horace
Push
is
it.
like lifting weights, but he horribly injures himself.
And then it goes to like, you know, Coach Gill and the Cheetah Man talking, and Coach Gill, she's just like, so you and Horace just decided to replace him with you, like you just decided that amongst yourselves, and he's just like, yeah.
She's like, well, okay, I guess, let's go.
It also shows like this like cut to what Horace is up to, and he's just laying on the couch staring at the ceiling.
That's not happening.
Are you kidding me? I did it again.
No, Coach Gills is obviously smitten with Mr. King here, and
Can't keep calling him King.
We can call him King.
Just try and stop me.
That is easier to say.
She has like this voiceover monologue where she's just like narrating. It seems like a romance novel, like as soon as I laid my eyes on him kind of thing. And he comments that he heard her voiceover, and he's like, all right, cool, I guess, let's go.
Cool.
He's very nonplussed about it. He's a very nonplussed guy. He's just like, you know, all right, that's cool. Let's go.
Let's get out.
And-
I don't think he's voiced by Patrick Warburton.
No, I don't think so either.
They go off to the gym. He wheels her around. Jake is about to achieve like the knowledge of all things when Coach Kill like interrupts him, orders them all to do their exercises. Get on the rope.
Get on
Everybody on the
the
rope.
rope.
Yeah, and Miss Gills. Why do I keep doing that? Coach Gills is like yelling at him like the rope, guys. You guys like rope? Let's do it. Actually, Cheetah says that later, but she's like just yelling at him. But the Cheetah guy's like, you got to talk to them like a trainer, not an authority figure. I don't mean to step on your gills here, but let me try. So he walks over to like Adam and Jake, who are like entangled in the rope, and he's just like, hey, you guys like rope?
Hey y'all.
And he seems like a nice guy, though. He's like giving them genuine pointers and tips and stuff, and Gills is still like voiceovering in her head, and Adam and Jake like make fun of her because they can hear it for some reason also.
She blushes.
And she's like, "Ee."
Also, earlier, it just like cuts like when they're entering and they're like talking. Coach Gill and Mr. Cheetah, they're entering and talking. It cuts to Horace like on his couch in his like little ferret home, I guess.
I guess.
He's like trying to push like one of those push pops really like desperately, but like and in his head is the voice of Mr. Cheetah saying, push it, Come on.
Push it, Horace.
Come on,
Push
Horace.
it, Horace! Come on, you can do it! And then he's like, and he pushes it out completely onto like his chest.
It's so sad.
Cheetah seems to have built a repertoire with the students. They seem to enjoy him a lot, and he's like, yeah, I always give 110%, man. All right, see y'all next time. And
That's a secret, man.
it's a secret. And Coach Gill's like, wow, you're doing really well. I might be out of the job. But he's like, no, I'm not here to step on any fins. You know, I might be like the fastest land animal. And he starts like listing things about himself, like things about cheetahs, like I can spin around in the air.
He doesn't need water? They don't need water?
Let's see. Animal Facts Corner with Renee.
Animal Facts Corner with Renee!
However, unlike most other animals, cheetahs can survive for long periods of time without drinking water. Instead, they obtain water from the body fluid of their prey.
Oh.
That's from Cheetah Facts and Pictures from FOHN.net.
Damn.
Let's see here. Yeah, they obtain water from the body fluid of their prey. This enables cheetahs to go up to 10 days without taking an additional drink of water.
Oh. Okay.
And there was the thing he mentions about like being able to like twist their spine in midair to like change their air directions and stuff.
That's a pretty cool superpower.
Cheetahs are pretty weird. I learned something today, and you know, any show that teaches you something, it's a good show. I'm glad they had this teaching opportunity. My gym partner's a monkey. That's all I ask. That's all I ask.
I'm happy about it too.
So Mr. Cheetah walks like away, and Coach goes like, no, I'm just being paranoid. Why would he want to steal my job? And Ingrid and Lupe walk by, and they're like, wow, I really hope Mr. Cheetah steals Coach Gill's job.
Ingrid and Lupe doing their original roles of like filling exposition.
Yeah,
but,
going back to their roots.
But it's really funny here.
Classic comedy.
So all the children now are very buff. They're very fit. It seems like Mr. Cheetah's doing a really great job. And
It's horrifying.
He's sitting in Miss Coach Gill's office just like on a phone call with his mom. And Adam and Jake walk by. Adam and Jake walk by, and they're like, wow, he seems like he's such a great guy. I really like him. But then he's like, yeah, you know, they're basically eating out of my hand, Mom. I might as well just like try and be principal or something. Like, why even bother trying to be the gym teacher? And Adam seems very Adam seems very like not into this idea. He's like, oh no, he's gonna steal Principal Pixie Frog's job. And Jake's like, and that's a problem?
I think it's funny that they didn't care until like Principal Pixie Frog's job was at risk.
It's really weird. Like, you would think like they would like, you know, go on about like Coach Gill, but Adam goes on like this, you know, one of those like big speeches about Principal Pixie Frog. But they're lampshading like these speeches at the same time, because like he's just listing all the bad things that has happened under Principal Pixie Frog's supervision, like the unhealthy, like, you know, snack foods episode, and then the frickin' just hold on, the fattening school lunches, dangerous exchange students that with the harpy eagle that almost killed Jake.
He didn't even almost kill Jake. He was friends at the end.
They were playing tag.
They were playing tag. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, that's one of the things he just listed. And the forced uniforms that turned everyone into snobby jerks. But these are all supposed to be good qualities of Principal Pixie Frog.
There's just so many, and he like stands in front of like a American flag or something that has the Principal Pixie Frog's face on it or something, I forget. But it's just really, I don't know why Adam of all people is really gung-ho about Principal Pixie Frog, considering all that PF has done to him and not done for him.
Well, I mean, you should always look after your authority figures, even if they don't look
God,
after
Adam.
Well, like, authority figures are really important because, I mean, what would you do if you didn't have somebody to tell you what to do?
Okay. Anyway,
We can't keep going. We can't
Adam
keep
is-
going back to that.
Adam is proud to call Principal Pixie Frog his friend, so they talk to Principal Pixie Frog about it. To which he replies, "Oh, I should have moved to the mountain with my brother when I had a chance." Which I didn't know Principal Pixie Frog had a brother.
Well, no, it was mentioned before in Mr.
Oh, that's
Mangel's
right. When he was,
episode.
yeah. Okay, never mind. I forgot about that. So quickly it leaves my mind.
So quickly.
It stays in my mind like a steel trap. Ah, I wish it didn't. Please let it go.
So they need to find a way to shame Mr. Cheetah to leave the place because they can't fire him because he's not really
Shame.
technically hired. So they're going to shame him. And it seems like they're going to have Miss Gills challenge him to some competition of sports. And he would be so ashamed of losing to Miss Gills that he would, I guess just leave, just walk away and never come back.
And don't forget, nothing is more powerful than the uncertified teachers union. That's why we have to go through this.
So then we get
Yeah.
an interesting bit of lore here where Miss Warthog bursts into the room and she's like, "I'm going to train you. See, I have history with the cheetah. We used to like train together and we dated off and on for a little bit." I hate him.
I hate that like pompous jerk's attitude. Let's get him. And I'm here for this. I'm so here for this.
This like
This power dynamic. There like you wouldn't think there would be a lot here between Miss Warthog and Coach Gill, but you have like this moment here of like them seeing eye to eye in the same situation. You had like the anime special where it was Miss Warthog who was like the only one like really like talking about Coach Gill and like worrying about her and like doing like that elaborate like ghost trick to like get her out of her funk.
ghost trick.
That's right. And
there-
Miss Warthog genuinely cares about Coach Gill.
There's something here. There's something here, and I mentioned it before, but we can't overlook this. Coach Gill and Miss Warthog are a power couple.
I agree.
They're a burgeoning relationship. There's something here.
They have just so much potential. They have
absolutely.
synergy.
There's a training montage. Coach Gill is finally ready, and they're on the football field. The first competition is a race, which is horrible decision. Horrible decision. Of course, Cheetah wins it because he's a fucking cheetah. So that's a bust.
Yeah, kind of just have Coach Gill, like, not being able to do anything, again, because she is a fish in a bowl, racing a cheetah. Who isn't that?
But they race. The Coach Gill fails. Like I don't know what they were expecting. Just like setting her in the fishbowl. It's not like she can really get out of it to race even have a chance for that.
I was half expecting for maybe Mrs. Warthog to wheel her around.
Yeah, that would have been good, right?
It would have been funny.
It would have been funny.
But next we have a swimming competition, and remember that one line?
Swimming's a cute little sport. Is that what you mean?
No. I mean in any Inconvenient Goof where Horace is holding Coach Gills and she says,
Oh,
"Don't
yeah,
drop
I
me.
can't-
Remember, I can't swim."
Oh my god.
Now this
That
is
doesn't-
something I can do.
Yeah, this doesn't play an effect here. I just thought it was funny that was like mentioned in the previous episode, and then here we are in a swimming competition.
Not
A
even
dirty
one episode
water
ago.
competition, by the way. This water is filthy. It's disgusting.
Yeah, they do not clean this pond at all. It's maybe because they have some microbial students, some phytoplankton
Oh
students.
my god. Imagine if there's an episode where Adam and Jake shrunk down, like a magic
they're-
school bus style.
I want them to go inside Windsor and like fight a bacteria.
Yeah, fight a fucking bacteriophage and just be like, "That's a bacteriophage, Adam."
Wow, Jake, I didn't know you knew much about viruses. Well, I am one. And then he like turns into like a big like gooey monster.
he goes up against a cell and like a little like RNA drill comes out of the bottom of him and like starts injecting his DNA into Windsor cells.
I think
So
we're getting a little off track here.
The last competition. The last competition is a tree climbing contest. Who's making these things up? It's all or nothing. And of course, Cheetah guy brings out his claws and he climbs up the tree in 2 seconds. And oh, it's the end of
Really
everything.
easy.
But
wait.
Jake, who is for some reason reading the rules book, is like, no, you can't use claws, so it's not a legitimate win. And Adam calls a foul.
Foul! That's a foul!
I just
Yeah.
want to mention that the like the icon of like the no claws thing in the book is so heavily artifacted. Did you see that? How like how it's just like a really crunchy JPEG.
I didn't. I want to see it now, though.
All right. Here, but,
It
all
is
right, take a look at this.
artifacted. It looks like they just created this, like, they made, like, 2 circles and paint, and then they bucketed it, because you can kind of see, like, around the edges, it's, like, not filled in all the way. That's so funny. Look at that tree over there, also.
Yeah, it's just like there. It's not like in the ground or anything. It's just there. But you know, he was cheating. They all caught him in the act. I guess he really was a cheetah after all.
I guess he was a cheetah.
But
After
like
all.
but
I guess he was really a cheetah after all. Mr. Cheetah though doesn't really seem that bothered by this. He's like, "Oh, sorry. Like, okay, guess I'll go now."
Let's go back
I
to
guess
being
that
a
checks
trader.
out. All right. Well, see ya.
Go back to
He
trading
leaves.
Horace.
He leaves and Jake's like, I guess cheaters never prosper. Oh, you better never show your face here again. And then he's just like, yeah, all right, don't worry about it.
All right,
Cool.
I'll be gone. Bye.
Yeah.
Jake's like hyperventilating, and Adam's like, "Jake, it's over. Like, calm down. It's okay."
Don't have
But-
to worry about him anymore.
Our last bit here is Coach Gills just doing another voiceover in her head about how she's sad to see this handsome cheetah man leave, but you know, she'll remember their times forever. And everyone seems kind of annoyed, and well, annoyed's the wrong word. They look like they're about to vomit everywhere because they just, I guess, cannot stand the thought of Coach Gill like longing for someone.
The idea of Coach Gill being in love is sicking. It's sick.
Anyway, well, that's that episode.
Yeah. Good episode.
Yeah, I liked it. I think they're both really funny, and these were some strong episodes in my opinion. I would recommend these to people, just like if you're curious, like go watch them. They're fun.
Yeah, like, you know, if you want like the best of my gym partners, like a monkey, like, you know, what people say is like, oh yeah, that was a funny show. If you want to watch like an episode that is like a funny episode that you like, you know, just like a casual episode that you look back on to say like, oh yeah, you know, I guess this show was funny. These are the episodes, not the Halloween episode. That isn't one
No,
of them.
don't watch that. Don't watch that. Well, speaking of the Halloween episode, we have some interesting fan art to talk about.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Indeed, we do. Allow me to peruse this first one here,
Okay.
by art veteran here, Chairman Nam at My Gym Partners a Podcast. Oh God, oh fuck, he's coming for your nacho. And I think we have here like a self-insert alien, similar to the design of the aliens in the Cartoon Network Invaded episode of My Gym Partner's a Monkey. It's all like blue, got like a little like heart hook for the antennae. It's lovely. It's really nice. And you know what? It's a great design, and I'd love to see more of these guys, just like these like aliens from the Cartoon Network Invaded. Just in general, I love them.
Yeah, I like this design. It's
It's-
very good.
It is cute. I like the little claw hands. Good addition.
Excellent. All right.
Thank you very much.
I guess I should talk about this one.
I guess you should.
I feel partly responsible. Let's see here. Meow.
Sorry, that's my cat.
This was this art was sent in by Pink Cat Ninja. Haha, 2J universes in a row, huh? Get it? Cause last time it was him being the entirety of reality. Anyway, here's another My Gym Partners a Podcast goof drawing. Also, as I was working on it, there was a bit about bleeping out a local dentist, but I fear no such god.
I feel like I should bleep out this dentist for their safety. So if that little TV screen is blurred, you know why, and I'm sorry, but
Also, the art itself is
A fusion.
a
The fusion.
What am I? Who am I?
that's how Jake. What was Jake and Steven? What it was Jeevan?
Jeevan?
Imagine Jake
Steak?
Spider Monkey, but with
Steak?
like Ruby's
Steak?
voice.
Steak!
Stink! Stink!
Where Steven's like, where did we go? What did we do?
Imagine if Jake Spider Monkey's voice actor was the voice of Ruby.
That'd be funny.
Just like, oh Adam.
Oh
yeah. Oh, I don't know, Adam. What are we gonna do?
This is lovely. Thank you.
I have to mention the little detail of the butt on the star.
Yeah.
It's a great touch.
Yes,
But-
Thank you, Pink Cat Ninja.
All right, this next one's from @OctopusFruit. It says, I've been listening to My Gym Partners podcast, and I was inspired to design my own Sona for the underrepresented aquatic demographic. How are those glasses staying on? Don't worry about it. It's a lovely My Gym Partners podcast. No, sorry. And it's a lovely My Gym Partners a Monkey Sona. It's octopus, and I love the glasses so much.
I love the droopy head. I love the way octopus face go up.
Yeah, she's very cute.
It's a very good looking like octopus drawing. I love it, and I'm glad we got another My Gym Partner's a Monkey Sona.
Yeah.
It's been a bit, I think, and
Yeah.
you know this is a real good one. I love it.
Excellent stuff here.
Don't see a lot of cephalopods, so thanks for keeping up the good work, cephalopod lady.
Thank you.
Yes. Now we have a lot of comments here I'd like to talk about. So let's get through them. I'm going to read the first one. From Lynn Jones, ! A comment on our last YouTube video says, my introduction to your podcast was the episode with the Gollum x Dobby fanfic, and I haven't stopped listening since. Thank you guys so much for keeping it going. I love this so much. And this is a key smash I'm going to attempt to pronounce.
I'm really
Great
happy
piece, man.
that this is the introduction. Not our first episode, but this.
I think that's a high point. That if you're recommending episodes of this podcast to people, go with that one. I think that was the Prince and the Redacted episode of My Gym Partners a podcast.
Oh yeah, redacted.
That's the title that I came up with. Speaking of, I come up with all the titles.
Oh yeah, you gotta flex on me like that, huh?
It's funny, like, how when doing something like this, when you make that choice to put a subtitle for every single episode, you have to very much commit to it. And I don't think I've been really thinking about the stress that must put you under, Renee.
Oh, it's great. And, I'm expecting a pay raise,
Oh, great.
for all these emotional damages.
Gert, why don't you read the next one?
Oh yeah. Let's see. This comment came in by the Golden Oreos. I checked out this podcast because of the Seep animation, and I was pleasantly surprised to find that the podcast itself is good. Even as someone that didn't like the actual show when it aired, I love hearing y'all talk about it. Keep it up. Thank you for coming on over.
You know, it's like we gotta give like again big shout outs to Seep. You know, going hard with like recommending us. You know, subscribe to MigPap, all that. You know,
Yeah.
we're really grateful, and they've done like really great work. You know, great fan art. That fan animation as being talked about here, bring people here. If you haven't watched it, if you're a fan of ours and you haven't seen it yet, it's a good one.
It's
It's
a
got
real
a-
good one.
It's a very good one, and honestly, like, just huge thanks to Seep. I feel like our podcast wouldn't be nearly like is out there without like Seep helping out and just being a really good supportive friend.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel everyone here who has ever even just tweeted about us or commented on our
That
videos has
too.
really contributed to us reaching more people like the Golden Oreos. So thank you, the Golden Oreos, and now you can pass the baton and you can curse somebody with this show. It's your turn now.
You have the monkey's paw.
Speaking of curses, a comment here from the Tyrant of Tyrus. They write, "Happy Halloween! I listened to this while cooking corn dodgers. I feel like Adam lusts after these terrible personalities for some reason. Maybe because it excites his boring life, but I think it's a path of self-destruction." Let's dive into this. I really do appreciate he does like have a pattern of like latching on to these vitriolic people. There's a whole laundry list. Let's see here. There's Jake, of course. There's Dickie, who, as
God.
we've established in this episode, is a mirror hyper image of Jake. There was that crab from that one episode.
God,
where
The
you
crap.
got-
I pinchy. I pinchy.
pinch your cheeks. I don't know if Lord Saucy Pants. I don't think Lord Saucy Pants is.
I don't think he
they're-
counts.
They're a sweet little boy. They're
Yeah.
a sweet little boy. He doesn't count. Just he latches on to these people. Then Rick Platypus was the
God.
most recent example.
Rick Platypus can just go
Can I-
away.
Yeah, if you'll allow me, can I go a bit in depth into this?
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of people question this era of like cartoons specifically. This like these mid 2000s era where a lot of sidekicks in these shows are like just scummy. They're just like kind of jerks, but like they still hang out. A lot of people say. Some animation reviewers, your Mr. Enters and whatnot, will say like, why would they present these like relationships that are like so obviously awful and stuff? And there's a point there. They are awful relationships. I think some like more than others. Like one of the other examples is like Blue and Mac. They have like a kind of bad relationship, but they're just like he's his imaginary friend, so they're like lifelong companions. It's a bit more like childish, and I think it works there. Jake and Adams, I think, is a different kind of like, it makes a weird kind of sense where they're just middle school friends. You attach yourself to a clique, and then you kind of like hang there because that's like the option you have. It's a very cynical show, and because of that, it has like a cynical slant of like the sidekick formula or like the friend formula, where they're all just jerks to Adam, and Adam is dismissive and jerkish in turn, but they still hang out. They still deem each other friends because they're all they got. I think it does reflect the times, not just like kids of that time having those kind of friends and whatnot, but also just wanting to rebel against like the idea of like what a sidekick should be in a show, of what friendship should be in a show, just like wanting to show different different sides, more comedic, conflicting relationships, stuff like that. I think that's the impetus behind these relationships in these shows. It's not necessarily to present this in like a good light. Just it's something.
It's live. It encapsulates that feeling. I think it's very true to how a lot of us were in middle school. I think when we look at these quote unquote like relationships, Lou and Mac, Jake and Adam, we view them too much from like an adult lens. Like, try and bring yourself back to when you were in middle school. You were probably shitty. You were probably kind of mean.
I know for a fact that in middle school, I wasn't very popular with people, and there were people who made fun of me because I talked all Southern, and I would kind of use that to my advantage. I would basically slowly assimilate my self into their friend group, and they would start to like me, but I still viewed them as enemies, even though I kept them as friends. So it was sort of I was like, yes, I've molded you to my whim. I've manipulated you into being on my side. And it was just part of me was I took pride in that as a child. And it's wow.
That's totally how it is though. So thank you for the comment, and thank you for that analysis.
It's
Sorry.
pronounced analyst.
Thank you. Our last comment today is by our frequent fan here, Cat Comics Studios. You goofed about having Windsor coming into the studio as a guest for a future episode, but that made me curious. If you three could interview one of the voice actors while they're in character as their My Gym Partner's a Monkey character, which of them do you think would be the most interesting to talk to? I'll also permit talking to the character as if the amount of time since the show aired passed for them in, quote, real life, if that spices things up.
Can I start? I want to say mine.
Can we say ours at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Principal Pixie Frog.
I would love to talk with Maurice LaMarche. Or are you talking about actually Principal Pixie Frog?
Principal Pixie Frog.
Pixie Frog, for real.
Well,
I've been teaching this school for 30 years now.
You see, we wouldn't be able to pay Maurice Lamar enough money to just talk as himself. As soon as he's done being Principal Pixie Frog, he leaves the call and we never hear him again.
I think he would be a really interesting guy. First of all, his voice actor would be fun, but also just seeing from the principal's perspective, by the time Adam and Jake will not spend a lot of their life in middle school. They will move on. There will be other Adam and Jakes for Principal Pixie Frog to deal with. And you could be Principal Pixie Frog, do you remember a student, Jake Spider Monkey and Adam Lion? And he kind of he's oh, let me think. And he kind of gets this nostalgic smile on his face, and he's
the Lion Boy.
The Lion Boy. That was an interesting 3 years, I'll tell you that. And it's
Mrs.
just
Warthog.
and he's in his older years. He's retired now.
It's the scene that's in the beginning of Deadly Premonitions, the director's cut. You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
Renee? Where it's
Yes,
he's
I do.
"Oh,
Where
let me tell you a tale."
and then he's got a tadpole grandchild that's is it a scary story? No, it's definitely it's a little scary.
It's not a story I
kind of
should
nasty.
probably tell you.
Anyway, I think we've about talked everybody's ear off tonight.
Yeah,
But I had a fun time.
I did have a fun time.
Yeah, this was a good palate cleanser after the Halloween episode.
So we'll be back in 2 weeks with the Frog Principal and Meet the Spider Monkeys.
And let me tell you, I'm excited for that latter half. Ooh, oh boy. We finally meet Jake's parents.
Gasp!
Jake's...
What could they possibly look like?
I don't know, but the thumbnail for the next video is really making me excited.
So remember, you can follow us on Twitter. You can tell everybody about us. We got a Ko-fi coffee now. So if you have $2 or $3, I think the minimum you can send us is $3. So if you have $3 lying around and you really want us to say something, we'll say whatever as long as
if you're allowed
within
to listen
reason.
If you're allowed to listen to radio at work, put us on the radio. See what your coworkers think.
So thank you everybody. Good night everybody, or good morning wherever you are. Good afternoon. Goodbye.
Good
Lucy.
day. I'm Gert.
And I'm Renee. And this has been another episode of My Gym Partners, a podcast. See you later. Woo!
Bye bye.